everybody.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. I'm back. Sorry for the absence. Personal matters. I'm sure you can relate. But I'm back better than ever. So much has happened while I was away, but I've been keeping up, don't worry. Therefore, I have plenty of material for my next videos. I'm already working on the next one, so turn that notification bell on now that I'm back on a regular schedule. Thank you so much to my subscribers for hanging in there. I know you've been waiting patiently for more of my shenanigans. And newcomers, welcome. Let me know in the comments if you're brand new to this channel or if you're a dedicated pilot follower. I've missed you all. So something new today, we're doing a top 10. Just a qualifier, this is only my opinion. If you disagree with my ranking, let me know down below. Let's get into it. Now, I'll be the first to admit that Meghan has had some great looks. When she dresses correctly for her body type and her hair isn't in her beloved messy bun, she looks put together. The yellow dress was my favorite royal look on her. These are a few of my faves. But more often than not, her outfit choices are a miss. She once bragged about not having a stylist while being a working royal, which makes a lot of sense. Not something I would brag about, seems more of an admission than a brag. That being said, this is the top 10 worst Meghan Markle fashion fails. Number 10. The Diana top at Invictus Games 2022. There were a lot of fashion fails at the Invictus Games, but one of the worst was this white ruched disaster. The giant, creepy elephant in the room is that this look is identical to Diana's final photo shoot before her death. The look is so identical that it cannot be a coincidence. This has to be on purpose, which has been a recurring theme with Mrs. Dumbarton. And to be honest, it doesn't even come close to Diana's look. The ruching doesn't do any favors to her body type, and the off-the-shoulder neckline makes her look hunched over. I doubt that's an optical illusion, and really, it's only accentuating bad body posture. The pants were harmless enough, but it's the top that really earned this look the number 10 spot. Number 9. The see-through blue skirt in Australia 2018. There are several different types of fashion fails. There are clothes that don't fit right, outfits that are inappropriate, and then there are wardrobe malfunctions, this look being the latter. I'm assuming that getting ready for the day she didn't realize that the skirt was see-through. Who knows, she might have been taking a stand against royal protocol, but a mistake like that cannot be on purpose. I'm sure she had to answer for it later. There was a lot of squatting, and it looked like she was doing a dance number at the Moulin Rouge. I mean, at least she was wearing underwear. If the skirt had been lined, it would have actually been a very harmless, forgettable look. But because she decided to give us a little peep show, this blue atrocity has found itself on my list. Number 8. The White Jumpsuit Invictus Games 2022. Look, I love a white jumpsuit. With the right tailoring, it is crisp, it is professional, it makes a woman look classic, yet sexy, a CEO, and yet a vixen. We all know a certain duchess that can rock a white jumpsuit. But this was... I'm lost for words, really. The Markle fashion at the Invictus Games was just especially egregious. Everyone was waiting to see Meghan's first look at the games. This was her first appearance in a royal-type setting in a very long time. People were curious to see what she would be wearing, and the very first outfit we see is this. First of all, the size of the jacket was about 5 sizes too big. The length of it was way too long. It was almost down to her knees. The shape was, I swear, it made her look like a walking rectangle. I will admit, her hair was flawless, makeup was inoffensive, the hand jewelry was offensive. I'm kidding, but how old is she? I feel like hand chains is something you age out of when you hit 30. Honestly, if her hair wasn't as perfect as it was, this would be higher on the list. Number 7. The tight floral dress at Brinsworth House, December 2018. Christmas time fashion, what do we think of? Red, faux fur linings, modest, loose fits, layers, especially when we're visiting our grandparents or older family friends, or people in nursing homes. What don't we think of? Extremely tight bodycon floral dresses. The pattern wasn't even holly or poinsettias. It was a spring floral pattern. The cleavage was out. It was bizarre. Yes, she was pregnant, but it was evident that this dress was not maternity. Could it have been the wrong size? Sure. But did she not try it on before the visit? Like, even the morning of? It's hard for me to believe that she looked in the mirror and thought that this was appropriate for this specific engagement. Her belly shape was odd, to say the least. The tightness of the dress certainly didn't help that. Side note, this visit really showcased the fact that Markle doesn't know how to small talk, and that's a huge part of being a royal, is being able to engage with the public without it getting awkward.
How long have you been here? And how long have you been here? How long have you been working here? And how long have you been living?
Anyway, the fit and appropriateness of this dress is what got it to number 7. Number 6. The square dress at Global Citizen Live 2021.
Hi, everybody.
I've pointed out several times how Markle likes geometric shapes, specifically squares. This is not about her body shape. She could have curves like Marilyn Monroe, but these angular square-shaped monstrosities would still not look good. And this mini dress she wore to the Global Citizen event was the biggest violator of them all. First of all, she went a couple of shades too dark with that spray tan. The contrast between her legs and the white dress was stark. The length of the dress was all wrong, the width did her no favors, the fit around the waist area showed her stomach in a not-so-flattering way. Wasn't a fan of the floral design, and the placement of it on the bottom of the dress just highlighted that awkward, sharp cutoff. The hair was her favorite ponytail with the obligatory tendrils in her face that she kept pretending to move out of her face. I still haven't decided if it's a nervous tic, merching the jewelry, or if she just thinks it's cute. Jury's still out. We all know a square-shaped outfit had to make the list, and this was the obvious choice. Number 5. The black dress at the Lion King premiere 2019. I will admit, it's hard for me to separate Markle's look at the Lion King premiere and her behavior because, oh my god, the cringe. The whole thing was a lesson in uncouth, from Harry shilling for Meghan by begging Bob Iger to give her a job. To this moment.
That's really why we're here. It's the pitch.
But with all of that icky behavior, one of the worst looks to come from that event was this black number. Maggie seems to be a big fan of the mesh sleeve, which can be a look, but hers tend to resemble figure skating costumes. Not only did she look like she was missing her skates, the fit did not. There's been so many looks of hers where the fit was completely wrong, and it confuses me. Is she only getting samples from designers? Does she like the look of her clothes not fitting? Was this revenge from a stylist she bullied? So many questions. And listen, if this was baby weight, great. Take as long as you need to get back to your fighting weight. But dress accordingly. Her seams look like they're hanging on by a thread. Seriously, let's leave the costumes to Michelle Kwan. Number 4. The Wizard Dress, Morocco 2019. There are several reasons why this dress, these robes, made the list. The sleeves and fit of the dress make it look like a wizard's robes. She looks ready to cast dark spells. All she needs is a wand. At 90,000 pounds, which equals $112,000, you'd expect something a little more flattering. The fabric, which costs as much as a boomer paid for a house, was hugging all the wrong spots, making her shape appear odd. Many of us have suspected that this look was an attempt at recreating Catherine's beautiful Alexander McQueen maternity gown, which, no, not even close. I also understand this was a nod to the Moroccan dress and culture, but it came off as more of an insult. The makeup was subtle, and her hair was in her favorite yet unremarkable center part tight bun, the shape of which was a little wonky. Her hair was up for most of this tour, but couldn't touch the beautiful architecture that is Catherine's updos. All in all, the color of the dress, which of course Meghan claims was forced on her, only highlighted her less than mediocre spray tan. The ruched neckline didn't flatter her bust area. The sleeves looked like she was auditioning for the role of Merlin in Disney's live-action The Sword in the Stone. All the reasons this almost made it to the top 3 on my list. And we won't even go into how her shape seemingly changed several times throughout the evening. Number 3. The oversized floral dress at Cousin Celia's wedding, June 2018, aka the duvet cover. I mean, this one is pretty self-explanatory. Like, do I need to say anything? This Oscar de la Renta dress is so oversized, so baggy, that it's swallowing her up. The dress is wearing her. I like the colors, the pattern. You know, I even like the shape of the dress. The sleeves are cool, the way they're fitted on the wrists with the button detail. But the fit is so off, it's distracting. Now, on the model, it looks great. But on Markle, the waistline isn't there, which only highlights the bagginess in the midsection area. And there's that messy bun again. It looks like she just rolled out of bed with the blanket still on, threw on some oversized heels, and stuck a wad of toilet paper on her head. Each violation isn't especially egregious, but together, like my mother says, the sum of the parts equal the whole. A whole mess. And that messiness landed this look in the top 3. Number 2. The wedding dress. I was one of those sops that watched the Sussex wedding. Even though the engagement interview had me raising an eyebrow, I was happy for Harry. Royal weddings are exciting events that bring people together to witness history. Everyone had been speculating, what will Meghan be wearing? I had predicted a high neck, which I will have been proven right with the second dress. I knew it was going to be zero lace, very modern. She had presented herself as both perfectionist and fashionista, so I was expecting a lot. And then she gets out of the car. Wow. And not in a good way. Side note, we all remember this little moment, don't we? When she swats the usher away. Anyway, I first noticed the off-the-shoulder neckline, which surprised me since I know royal wedding dresses traditionally have a more modest neckline. But what really stood out is how baggy the dress was on her. There were several creases all over the dress, making it look almost sloppy. The tiara was pretty, the veil was nice, although it seemed like a little much being her second or third wedding, depending on who you ask. I even heard the queen was a little taken aback by Markle's dress choice. It's funny watching this back knowing all the drama that led up to this. I can't imagine what the royal family was thinking that day. Nothing good, probably. Back to the dress. I also heard that Meghan kept changing her mind, wasn't showing up to fittings, just being an all-around bridezilla, and that's why the dress didn't fit. Unsurprising. And the hair. The hair! We all know she's obsessed with the tendrils in her face, and pretending to move them off her face. It looked messy. The curls eventually fell, and it looked like she just rolled out of bed and stuck a veil on. The second dress looked okay, but it was backless. Completely inappropriate in my opinion. I'm sure the royals had something to say about that. Even for a reception, it's a royal reception. All in all, her wedding looks weren't the most offensive, but because this was her wedding day, and a royal wedding watched by over 1 billion at that, it's all the way up at number 2 on Meghan's worst fashion fails.
I would have done one more fitting. Kate won. Kate won. I'm sorry. I'm never not going to tell the truth. One more fitting.
Before we get to number 1, here are some honorable mentions. The acorn Christmas hat. Depending on who you ask, this is either the acorn hat or the poop emoji hat. Doesn't matter which you think, it's horrible either way. Not the best way to introduce yourself to the world as a fashion icon. She looked visibly scared during the event, so it made it look 10 times worse. The garden party dress. Another costume that looks like a skating outfit from a local competition. Pink isn't her most flattering color, and that plastered on fake smile and overall demeanor certainly didn't help. Like our friend Clarice says, looks like 2 pigs fighting under a blanket. The pink market dress. It seems like every outfit I choose comes with a controversial incident, almost as if I'm covering a controversial person. She left really early, and the excuse was crowd control, but now we know about the UN women drama. Also, I just think she couldn't be arsed. I strongly disliked this dress. It looked like the whole look was put together last minute, almost like she didn't want to be there. The tendrils, of course, were out to play. The fluffy balls on the strings reminded me of those clown outfits. She was only at this engagement for 6 minutes, so not much left to say here. Number 1. The red dress. I don't think anyone is surprised that this is my number 1 worst Meghan Markle fashion fail. Here's a moment to admire this monstrosity in all its glory. The designer, Wes Gordon of Carolina Herrera, I'm sure he does great work, but this is the opposite. I don't even know where to begin. The bodice was way too tight. You can see the belt hugged her so tightly that it created divots in her side that created rolls. The way the skirt fell made it look like it was too busy and almost unfinished. And that train took up the entire room, taking attention away from the American servicemen and making it all about her, of course. It just wasn't the right dress for the occasion. It was loud and obnoxious. The angle of the straps was a little bizarre. The way that they were angled, it was just so misaligned from the bust line. Speaking of the bust line, oh my gosh, that neckline and the way that the bust is shaped is just so atrocious. The U shape and how deep it was, plus, like I said before, the straps, it was so disjointed. And the shape of the bust line with the straps just looked so misshapen and almost deformed. And I know you know, I was getting to it. The pleats on the bust. What is going on? The shape of the pleats were inverted. It looked so unflattering and so weird. Obviously, her bust was too small to fill out the cups. That's why they're so inverted like that. But the pleat is so huge. It was distracting, to say the least. The color of the shoes didn't match the dress, which is not a huge violation, but I don't like different shades of shoes with the dress. But hey, at least they were closed-toed. The hairline was so slicked back. Normally I'm not bothered by her hairline, but this was just so dramatic. And the makeup was fine. Personally, I like a red lip with a red dress. It just makes it pop more. Her nude lips were practically invisible next to the dress. In general, this dress hugged her in all the wrong places, and the design was just not good. It was unflattering, and especially for someone who has a short and square waist like Meghan does. There were so many mishaps that added up to this unfortunate look that the red dress, made it to my number 1 of the top 10 Meghan Markle fashion fails.
Are you excited? Yeah. Are you looking forward to it?